Good morning. Welcome to the CBSN Minnesota Morning Update. I'm Jason DeRusha. Glad to have you with us today. Boy, wasn't yesterday a nice one? I went to my kids' choir concert at Maple Grove Senior High School last night and left my coat in the car. I know. Maybe shorts? Are people going to be wearing shorts on Wednesday? Perhaps. Let's get through today. It's going to be a nice one, well above normal. Little slushy for sure. Temperatures will get close to 40 today. Yeah, lots of melting. So I'll be curious to see like what people's snow piles look like after today and when we get into the warm weather Wednesday morning. Chance for rain and thunderstorms. So we'll be watching all of that for you here at CBSN Minnesota. Your mailbox, well, is it overflowing with Christmas cards or not? Talking with our producer Chris today about Christmas cards and the decline in people sending them. Chris had said, Chris, you said in your family there are 5 people, 5 different families, and 4 of them are no longer doing it, not sending the Christmas card anymore. In my family, oh, look at that picture of Heather and her family. You know who was the very first Christmas card I received this year? Usually Allie Holman is the first. This year it was Heather. Before Thanksgiving even, she got it out. No wonder Heather's so stressed at work. She's doing all that. Why is she doing so much work? Go lazy like I do. Then you feel, you know what? Keeping it chill all the time here at Casa de Russia. We don't do Christmas cards, but do people really need any more photos of my family? I think if you care, you get plenty. Anyway, are you doing it? Are you sending Christmas cards? Do you like receiving them? Do you like the letter? I like the letter. I like when people write a letter because usually people include things that they shouldn't include in a letter. So that's what I like. And that is the Christmas spirit for me, for sure. So let us know kind of where you at. I'm just curious about it. I do enjoy getting them, I have to admit. So I'm a little hypocritical on this in not sending them. So share your thoughts and we'll read them coming up. A rise in crime across West Metro cities is prompting the communities to come together and talk about more widespread safety changes. Lots of different issues to be discussed in these cities. So bear in mind, these are parts of town that tend not to have much crime at all. And they are seeing carjackings, armed robberies. The mayor of Edina says he believes if all of these suburbs are working together, they can bring the criminals to justice. Edina and St. Louis Park Police offering a $5,000 reward for information that would lead to an arrest in the recent attempted carjackings in their cities. So lots of issues on the table here, right? From police trying to find these people to bigger issues of whether the courts are doing a good enough job of keeping people locked up. So lots to be discussed today. It is day 5 of testimony in the Kim Potter trial. The former officer, of course, accused of killing Dante Wright. We are streaming it here on CBSN Minnesota, and you're going to be watching this morning, as will we, for a decision from the judge on 2 motions, both sort of interesting. One would prevent officers from giving their opinion on deadly force. So we saw this in the Chauvin trial. Officer after officer was asked what their opinion was on the use of deadly force in this case. And so we're seeing it in Kim Potter. So this is something that the judge will have to decide on. And the second issue is whether the prosecutors can point to Kim Potter's role as the president of the union as something that would indicate that, like, maybe the other officers who are testifying are biased in her favor. Kind of a strange one. So we'll see what happens there. News in the Derek Chauvin federal trial, as we have learned that Derek Chauvin appears to be ready to change his plea. He is locked up for 22 years as he has been found guilty by a jury of murdering George Floyd. The federal civil rights charges were kind of being talked about before the state charges were filed. And we had heard that there were plea negotiations going on at the time of the state trial even. So anyway, we saw that there is a hearing scheduled for tomorrow where Chauvin will withdraw his not guilty plea. Legal experts saying he's probably going to plead guilty, and there's probably a deal that will keep him from being sentenced to life. If that happens, Chauvin would likely need to talk in court about what happened the night he murdered Floyd. No cameras in federal court, but it would be our first time hearing from him as to what happened that night. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, we are seeing a bit of a surge, some new COVID cases in the state of Minnesota. Not a huge surprise as people were gathering together for Thanksgiving. And Delta is still in the community. So the health department reporting another 3,600 or so cases. They also reported 46 new deaths because of the virus, one of them in their late 20s. A person from Becker County. Today does mark 1 year since the official start of vaccination in the U.S. against COVID-19. Remember how exciting it was when Dr. Sandra Lindsay, first person in the U.S. to get the vaccine? What happened, right? Like, man, the work by the Trump administration, by the scientists, for these private companies, the government scientists to develop this vaccine, one of the really tremendous achievements that everybody celebrated at the time, and then we just couldn't help ourselves. And it's been mostly a success, right? So many people have gotten vaccinated, but it's become so controversial and political. Kind of a bummer. NFL now requiring coaches and team personnel to get a COVID booster shot by December 27th. All of the sports leagues have made a big deal. Oh, most of our players are vaccinated. More on that in a second. Mandate doesn't apply to players. Because they have a union, and the union discusses work rules, right? And so they're negotiating with the NFL Players Association. But yesterday, 37 NFL players tested positive for COVID. One of them is the Vikings' Alexander Mattison, the key backup to Dalvin Cook. And we don't know what is Mattison's vaccination status. We don't know. So we don't know exactly what the protocol will be for him. But even though most players in most leagues are vaccinated, high-profile players have been the ones that have come out and said they're not vaccinated. Sort of interesting. If you're a backup, right, you're going to get vaccinated because you don't want to be the slug who is hurting your team. If you're the star quarterback or a big-time running back, maybe you don't have that same pressure. Let's talk about the Salvation Army. They need bell ringers. Yeah, I've noticed this throughout the community, right? So many red kettles with no one there ringing the bell or trying to collect money. Organization tells us 20,000 hours, volunteer hours, are still unfilled. Marketing director says, look, this was a problem before the pandemic, but it's gotten worse during COVID.
There aren't as many people that are signing up to bell ring, but I gotta say it is one of the safest volunteer opportunities that are out there. You can mask up. It is a contactless volunteer experience.
QR codes right there at the kettle. You can scan those and donate by phone. You can use Venmo. You can use PayPal. You don't have to drop cash in the kettle. All of the donations go to providing food, shelter, care right here in our local communities. And there's this. Any donation made through the end of the year, through December 31st, will be doubled up to $1 million because of a bunch of supporters who didn't want to be, they didn't want the attention, they didn't want the credit, but they came up with a matching donation. Pretty cool. Elon Musk is Time Magazine's 2021 Person of the Year. Time scavenged the country and said, let's find maybe the most obnoxious person we can. And Elon is your winner. He's an interesting guy, right? Like, he is... Obviously, with Tesla, he got kind of slapped by the SEC for his tweets that made the price go crazy. SpaceX, he launched the first ever mission to Earth's orbit with a crew of only tourists, no professional astronauts. So, like, he's controversial. He's for sure a change maker, an innovator, just an interesting, I don't know, they called him perhaps the richest example of a massive shift in our society. But pretty interesting dude and interesting choice here. Kim Kardashian, one step closer to becoming a lawyer. She passed what's known as the baby bar law exam. So the baby bar is one of two exams she'll need to pass in order to become a practicing attorney in California. This is her fourth try. So you got to give her. Look, Kim Kardashian doesn't need to go to law school. She's incredibly wealthy, a hugely successful entrepreneur, incredibly famous, very rich, but she has devoted herself to trying to exonerate people on death row who are innocent. So, I don't know. I know people have a lot of opinions about Kim Kardashian, but maybe check them for a minute and think here's someone with tremendous wealth and fame who is dedicating herself to self-improvement and to making the world a better place. What not to like about that? So I am a hardcore Kim Kardashian fan, at least in this arena. Let's get back to our talker today. We're talking about Christmas cards. Will I get a Christmas card from the Kardashians? I think it's a fair question. Joe Myers. Yeah, we do themed Christmas cards every year. This year it was the Christmas story. That's fun. I love a family theme photo. I think that I have one friend, a former teacher of mine, who sends a card that has an image on it, and then their family recreates the image in a photo. That's pretty good. Thanks, Joe. Here's Kimberly. I still send cards, but we haven't received as many as usual. Yeah, it seems every year we get fewer cards. I think a lot of us feel like we get these updates on Facebook, and maybe we don't need it. There's something special about the card. I agree. Thanks, Kimberly. Here's Michelle. I don't do it. Most of my friends and family are on Facebook. I do my greetings there. Yeah. Thanks, Michelle. Tamara, my favorite, when people decide they like to send them out late and their Happy New Year cards. That is a classic of my mother-in-law. That's a classic. Yep. I have a feeling that's where it's going. I don't remember taking a family photo. I don't think we got a card from them yet. Thanks, Tamara. Happy New Year to you as well. Bradley, my wife and I send them to friends and family every year. We love getting them too. I think most people love getting them. Yeah. All right, we're just curious, so it's fun to hear your reaction to that. Hey, I just want to take a minute. CBSN Minnesota, yesterday I blew up a balloon and hung it up in the newsroom. 2 years of streaming on CBSN Minnesota. I know you guys hear us talk about this all the time, but the fact is there's only one local streaming news source in Minnesota, in Wisconsin. It's us. And we've got a team of people. I don't know, there's probably only 6 or 7 people who run this thing, and we just appreciate the heck out of them. They are building the future delivery vehicle for news. The journalism from this place, it's always going to be the same, right? Quality, independent, unbiased, relentless journalism. That's what we're about. The way we deliver it, who the heck knows how it's going to happen? I'm glad that this is part of your news diet. So thanks for hanging out with us here, and congrats to our CBSN Minnesota team as they begin year 2 of streaming. We'll keep cranking out the morning update here, live at 7:34 on your schedule whenever it streams on CBSN Minnesota. Have a good day.